I feel like the first week's been some good information. I've been trying to share with you guys my like plate method that I've been using at work. Sometimes it's hard when it's all mixed together to see it as the plate method. But I make sure that when I'm assembling, that I'm definitely focusing on like making sure that when I fill up a container, because that's how it has to work when I throw it all into my lunch boxes, that it's all just one big container. That when I fill it up in my container, that I put about half of the volume of the container is going to be my non-starchy veggie, and then I measure out about a palm-sized portion of my protein source, and then about that half a cupped palm of whatever my starch source is going to be. So I've been trying to share the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then my late snack that I've been doing at work as well. Kind of give you guys an idea of what that looks like on a daily basis for me, trying to focus on those non-starchy veggies, because I feel like that's going to be where the magic's at. Trying to make sure that your belly is full, and that you're getting those micronutrients as well, because it's about the overall health of just making it fit with your daily life. So I'll go ahead and I'll share with you guys the PowerPoint for the information that we're going to be talking about today. Let me grab this and make it bigger. Okay.
Cool.
So we're going to be talking about like the original title of this presentation was Navigating Your Night Out. So it's just talking about going out to eat specifically, but I've added some information in here specifically for our challenge participants, because a lot of the feedback that I've received is like not just going out to eat is difficult, but like I have a nutrition client that's a nurse that works in the hospital, and so she has to deal with a lot of situations where like meals are catered in the hospital, or going out to family situations. Like I had a nutrition client this last week who went out of town, and so she had to deal with like, how am I going to navigate continuing with meeting my health and wellness goals by when I'm at a family member's house out of town, I'm not in control of the meals. So the way that she was able to be successful with that. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the information on that. So let's get started. So we talked about the fitness pyramid before. We've paired with Healthy Stuff Nutrition because we want you to know that something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated. So we want to help you to build that strong nutrition foundation so that you can meet your short and long-term goals, help you to feel confident in your own skin. And we want you to have the the tools in your toolbox so that you can enjoy your life while still meeting those long-term health and wellness goals. So a great strategy for helping you on your journey is learning how to navigate eating outside of your home, whether it's at a wedding, a party, fast food, or a sit-down restaurant, or going to a food truck, or just simply going to stay the weekend with the family out of town. So it's good to know why this is important. Studies have found that most people, their nutrition is significantly different over the weekend than it is during the weekdays. On the weekends, we tend to go out to eat. And on the weekends, we're more likely to stay, or weekdays, we are more likely to stay in. Of course, this weekend, most people are probably staying in because the weather is not ideal. But one study found that people that are between the ages of 19 and 50, which is most of the people in our gym, they consume on average an extra 115 calories more each weekend day. And that adds up to almost 18,000 calories, or about 5 pounds over a year. So even those of us who have hit our nutrition goals, our wellness goals, as far as weight loss and everything, just having your weekends a little bit, just a tiny bit out of control can lead to those small gains in the wrong way. So this nutrition talk, we're going to talk about navigating your night out, specifically looking at 4 different settings that you might find yourself in, especially as we come closer to like spring break and things like that. So tip number one is going to be just a couple of quick dining out hacks that you can do. So knowing before you go, most restaurants have their menu online as well as the nutrition facts online, so you can find the healthiest option from the comfort of your own home before you step out and make those choices. So being mindful is another good tip. Remembering that your brain is about 15 minutes behind your belly. So slowing down, enjoying the flavor of the food, allowing your brain to tell you when you are full. Put your fork down between bites and fully chewing your food, and then stop when you're about 80 to 90% full. Thinking ahead is also a good dining hack. Asking for a large container to be brought out with your food, or I'm sorry, a to-go container to be brought out with your food so that you can separate what you're going to eat now and pack up the rest for later before you're tempted to just go at it and eat everything that's on your plate. Or you can also plan ahead and just make plans to split your plate with the person that you're going out to eat with, or asking for the lunch portion instead of the dinner portion. And then another good dining out hack is eating your veggies first. So the veggies are going to be your volume carbs. They're going to help to fill up your stomach, and the volume leaves you feeling more full and satisfied. And then you can move on to your protein and then move on to your starch last. So the first situation that we're going to talk about is going to a sit-down restaurant. So at sit-down restaurants, we've always got those great extras that always come out first. So the beautiful bread that they make that comes out warm, and they set it down in front of you with a stick of butter. So
like the cinnamon butter is the worst.
Oh, it's so tempting. So when you go to a sit-down restaurant, one of the first things you can do is just skip those extras. That's going to be referring to the appetizers, the starting dish, or the starting dishes that you order off the menu. So like you sit down and you say immediately, usually our go-to when we went to El Chico before they closed was, before you walk away, we want that top shelf queso to come out first. So that's going to include the warm bread and butter, the chips and salsa that are put in front of you before you even ask for them. So as soon as possible, you can let the server know that you don't want them to bring those extras, like the bread, the chips, the popcorn. There's some restaurants in town that'll set a platter of peanuts in front of you. So you can, if you've gone out to eat with a group of people and you know that that's something they're going to bring out anyways, you can pass it on down the table to so that's out of your arm's reach.
I think that happens a lot. Like we've got 3 boys and me and Yvonne, and it's like if the food ends up, that extra food ends up on their end of the table, it's gone before I get to it, so it helps a little bit. And then I don't even miss it when it gets to me, but still very tempting to grab it.
Yes, very tempting. So another good strategy for surviving when you're going out to a sit-down restaurant is not drinking your calories. So studies show that consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages like sodas, as well as artificially sweetened beverages like diet sodas, are going to be associated with an increased risk of weight gain, which can lead to obesity and comorbidities like diabetes, as well as the risk of cardiovascular disease, amongst other complications like non-alcoholic liver disease, gout, tooth decay, all kinds of things. So this is why the next strategy we recommend is sticking with water, soda water, or unsweetened tea. Drinking a full glass of water before you start eating, continue drinking throughout your meal, and sticking with water instead of beverages that are going to have those empty calories in them. According to the CDC, drinking water and staying hydrated also helps your body to regulate temperature. It lubricates your joints. It's going to protect your spinal cord and other sensitive tissues. So it helps your body to get rid of waste as well. Choosing
Some
water
things
will
I
help
tell people
you.
about some things I tell about people about the water is that if they can drink more throughout the day, including when they go out, that, I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's just, it benefits overall. You don't want to do a 10-minute workout and be worried about getting a sip of water during 10 minutes of work. I
Yes,
mean, it's from a performance kind of perspective, if you get more water when you're eating out, the better. And then just
hmm
water in general, but definitely more water when you're eating out.
for sure. And then choosing water is going to help you to consume a more mindful portion size when you're eating out as well, because it helps fill a little bit of the volume in your stomach, which suppresses your hunger cues. One of the things that I talked about with almost everybody during their first visit was talking about um, there are stretching fibers that live at the top of your stomach. So if you have a stomach that has been filled up first with a little bit of water and then started your meal with those non-starchy veggies that are going to be your volume carbs, it's going to stretch those fibers at the top of your stomach. And it takes about 10 minutes to get from stretching fibers, releasing a hormone to your brain for your brain to go, oh, that means I'm full. Okay. And then you can stop eating. So when you slow down your eating, start with your water, move on to your non-starchy veggies, then it's going to stretch those fibers and send that signal to your brain a little
It's all
bit
about the
faster in the
mindful
meal.
eat, all about that mindful eating, right? So like,
Yes.
I just know that there are times when I am, hangry, and we get to a restaurant and chips and salsa comes out, and I will attack that
Yes.
basket of chips and salsa, and I won't even touch my water. And I think that, whenever we're stressed or we're in that kind of hangry state, uh, the tendency is to just kind of lose it and not be mindful about what's going in your mouth. But it's so much more useful to slow down just a minute and be okay with being upset with the server for not bringing you refills of water, and just if you can do that, then I feel like that's a win.
Yeah, for sure. So the last tip for going to a sit-down restaurant is going to be to keep it simple. A great way to do this is by keeping the plate method in mind. You should get a meal that has an obvious protein source, an obvious carbohydrate source, and tons of veggies. So we need to remember that the serving size at a restaurant is not going to be the same as a portion size. So a serving size is the standardized amount of food that's used to quantify recommended amounts. And that's what you will find when you look at the back of a nutrition label. But a portion size is the amount of food that you choose to eat, which may be more or less than what an actual serving size is supposed to be. So these two words can sometimes be used interchangeably, but they are not the same thing. So you want to keep in mind the difference. And an easy way to gauge your portion size is going to be by using your hands. So you don't want to shy away from asking for a to-go box and putting away the excess volume of food. So I showed everybody this hand portion guide whenever we did our initial appointment. So for the most part, like my hand size is not going to be the same as John's hand size. So when I hold up two fists, the size of my two fists is different from the size of his. And so having two fistfuls of veggies on my plate is not going to be the same as looking at John's plate. But that's how we can use your own anatomy to give you like a gauge of what is an appropriate volume for your size of a person. So looking at the palm size for your protein source, men get 2 palm size portions, women get 1. Everyone gets 2 fistful volumes of those non-starchy veggies. And then women get 1 thumb volume size of fat added to their meal, depending on the fat content of your protein source. And then men get 2 thumbs. And then men get 1 cupped hand size volume of carbs that have a little bit more starch in them, and women get about 1/2 of that cupped hand. So then also pairing that information with the plate method is going to help you with making sure that you've set up your plate for success when you're at a sit-down restaurant. All right, so the next situation that we're going to talk about is fast food. This is something that might be more common in your life. For me, Going out to eat, it's kind of a treat, but for some people, it's something that just has to be a part of their life. They're so busy that they are constantly on the move, and fast food is just something that happens on a regular basis. So when it comes to fast food, you want to opt for items that are going to be higher in protein. You want to go for lean sources of protein, most ideally that have more protein and less fat. And you want to think about your leaner sources of meat, such as turkey, chicken, fish, and find items that on the menu that are going to highlight those ingredients. So the second thing you want to consider when stopping at a fast food restaurant is going to be choosing grilled options over fried. That's going to be both when you're talking about your protein source as well as your carbs. So when you look at McDonald's, they have a fried buttermilk crispy chicken sandwich that's going to be 600 calories, and it has 29 grams of fat. Of that fat, almost 25%, it's going to be almost 25% of your daily value for saturated fat based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So the grilled counterpart is about 380 calories with only 7 grams of fat, and it has less than half the amount of saturated fat. Saturated fat is going to be what's going to be more likely to contribute to like cholesterol. So choosing grilled options is an easy way to minimize the calories as well as the fat. And you can ask them to change the way that you're preparing your meat. Ideally, the best option is going to be grilled, blackened, broiled, or baked, as opposed to fried.
One thing that I've found that like if we go to Chick-fil-A, I will, because everybody craves those stupid nuggets. At least I do. That batter's pretty tasty. So what we'll do is I'll get the grilled chicken sandwich or something along those lines. I'll get my, something with the grilled chicken. And then there's always the parent tax on the boys' nuggets, and I'll just get one or two nuggets from them.
I like it.
And then, so then I get the taste of the batter still, but the majority of my protein always comes from the grilled option. That's been working for me pretty well.
That's good. So the last strategy when you're going for fast food is going to be focusing on having a healthy side option. So over the years, fast food places have made an effort to offer better, lighter calorie sides. The sides are going to include things like fruit, yogurt, veggies, and salads. You don't, if you choose to stick with a more traditional side like French fries, then you want to stay away from the supersized portions. Order a kid's size or order a small. Not only will you save calories, but you're going to save a little bit of money doing that as well. So you can also ask for your sauces and dressings to be brought on the side, or you can skip them all together. So that way you can control the volume that's going to be added to your side. Sauces and dressings are going to provide additional fat as well as calories and carbs typically, and a lot of them are loaded with sugar. So most restaurants will allow you to substitute items. Subbing veggies for pasta is one of my favorite tricks, and most restaurants they're going to steam your veggies with butter and oil, so you can ask for them dry if you want to, which would mean no butter or oil are going to be used with the preparation.
I don't know if I've ever asked for no butter or oil on the veggies, but and I don't know. Sometimes, I think I always ask for extra veggies though, and I think that helps a ton. And I think that, especially when it's fast food, you're like, hey, can you put like 2 helpings of veggies on my burger or whatever? And they're always willing to do that. And it doesn't cost any extra. And it's not like you're really getting a lot of caloric content out of lettuce and tomatoes anyway, but it's certainly more of the volume foods that we talk about, and filling that satiation, that fullness a little bit sooner just for the extra volume is very helpful.
Yeah, and then also the micronutrients that you're going to get in those veggies.
Oh yeah.
So next situation we're going to talk about is food trucks. There's not a whole lot of food trucks in Lubbock, but I have seen them around. But the past few years, the food truck industry has kind of exploded as far as worldwide goes, mostly in those urban settings. But one of the um, let's see. So the next strategy is going to be, before deciding on a food truck option, you want to check out all of the options and choose the one with the easiest staples for protein, vegetables, and then also mindful portions. Like if you're going to a taco food truck, or any bowl type cuisines, you want to focus on whole grains and veggies. So with the food truck options, um, one of the best strategies is going to be eating your food with a fork, which kind of sounds silly, but when you eat with a fork, when you are consuming something like a wrap or a pita, they have found in a study that eating with a fork is going to allow you to fill up on the nutrient packed filling rather than the carb loaded vehicle that it's in. And an observation that they tested this on was in New York with a Greek food truck with gyros. They found that just choosing a fork cut out close to 300 calories and 33 grams of carbs by not eating that, the wrap. And then another study found that people who were given chocolate cake to eat using a spoon ate more than those who ate it with a fork. So the idea behind that is that people who ate the cake with a spoon, they developed the taste of the chocolate cake more gradually, because, and that had a tendency to make them eat more than they thought they were eating in smaller quantities. And those who ate with a fork were they were able to taste more instantly because of the like the spaces between the tines in the fork, and it helped them to develop the taste more quickly in their mouth of the chocolate cake, and that helped them to limit the quantity that they felt like they needed to eat. So eating with a fork, who knew?
I don't know. I'm in my head, I'm thinking I can put more of a bite on a fork than I can personally,
Yeah.
but I don't know. And then too, like, yeah, I can see how eating, like we get street tacos and we'll have Festivus games in a couple months, and when we have food trucks there, if you have a street taco handed to you, you just eat it faster. And so it's like,
Yes.
because it's about to just disintegrate all over your hand and whatever
Right.
clothes you're wearing, and it could get really
Right.
messy. So you're in a speed match with your food to eat it before it gets you.
Yes.
And
Pretty
so
much.
I can see how that would cause problems. And interesting. I just think that's great. I never really thought about it, but eating the food instead of the vehicle it's served in, that's really not wrong. I mean, everybody talks about shellless tacos or whatever, and
Mhm.
other negativity like that. But if you're gonna eat a taco, get the taco. But I
All
mean,
right.
I don't know. I think that's really cool. I should try that out more often. Anyway, I thought those are good points.
So the last strategy when you're eating from a food truck is to purchase your food and then walk away from the food truck to eat it. That helps you to listen better to your hunger cues. So the most important thing you can do to assure that you're following a natural pattern of hunger and fullness is to tune into your hunger cues, really. Removing yourself from distractions allows you to be more mindful, and that leads to more proper portion sizes.
Hmm.
So the next thing that we're going to talk about is weddings, parties, and barbecues. Um, and I feel like we're coming back around to wedding season. Soon it'll be barbecue season again, not this weekend. But when somebody tells me that they have a barbecue or some kind of an event coming up, we talk about strategies for helping them to set themselves up for success. We know that when it comes to these types of events, it's an easy way to lose control over your food options. So you want to start your day off on the right foot. Focus on having a breakfast that's balanced, lunch where you aim for lean protein and vegetables with less fat. And that way it gives you a little bit of extra wiggle room whenever you go to your party or wedding or whatever you're going to in the evening, so that you can enjoy your night. Remember, you never want to go to those types of events starving. You can't really like make up your calories by just holding off eating the rest of the day. And you're going to be more likely to have poor choices whenever you do go to those types of events overly hungry. So a great breakfast idea for that type of day is to to eat an omelet. Go heavier on the egg whites, and then vegetables, or have a great breakfast bowl with protein and vegetables and whole grains for fiber. And that's going to help you to feel fuller for longer during the day. And then the second strategy we're going to talk about for weddings, parties, and barbecues is going to, whenever you're going to buffet style occasions. So when it comes to buffets, all the same ideas are in focus when you're looking at like putting together the plate method. So you want to make sure that your plate, you make your plate and then you walk away from the food source. So not making a plate and then picking off of the appetizer or dessert table. That way you're not mindlessly over consuming.
And this buffet in the time of COVID is a little bit different too, right? So of the buffet style events and places I've been to during the past year, somebody else is filling your plate, you know.
Yeah.
Like even if I go around to Super Salad or whatever over there by the gym, used to you walk down that line and you put whatever you want on your plate. Well, now they have people actually filling your plate for you.
Yeah.
And
or
I think
they hand you pre-portioned volumes.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I think there's some intimidation there where you're like, you feel guilty for asking for another serving of veggies or something, but don't let that get you. I mean, a lot of people will ask for an extra serving of bread or an extra serving of meat. And I think that those the buffet line workers are typically told to like make sure everybody has a plate first before they do that. But they've never yet stopped me from getting an extra serving of veggies. So
yeah,
certainly easy to grab in that regard.
So the next strategy that we're going to talk about is going to parties. One thing to always consider is alcohol that's available. So ideally you want to stick to simple drinks that are going to be not loaded with sugar, like clear liquors paired with low sugar mixers like soda water, light beer, wine, champagne, and choosing, in addition to choosing a better drink option, you want to remember to try to keep your ratio 1-to-1 with water. And that'll slow down the alcohol consumption and then also minimize your dehydration effects on your body. Because we know that, I mean, we've already talked about dehydration and like having to stop and drink water in the middle of a 5-minute workout. You know that probably you should drink more water outside of the gym. So the last situation I'm going to talk about is going to be going out of town, maybe going on a family vacation or going to stay with family. So ways that you can try to help keep in control when you're out of your normal routine. So tip number 1 is going to be eating close to your usual times to help you to stay on a schedule. You can implement this tip by creating a plan. So if your meal is going to be served later than normal, then you want to eat a small snack at your normal meal time and eat a little less when the dinner is served. You want to try to keep your regular schedule as much as possible. And that's going to include not just eating, but also your other routines like sleep and your physical activity. And then you want to plan for some consistency in your life when you're going through anytime that you're going to be away from the house. Sometimes, like especially the holidays that we just passed through, whenever you throw your entire routine out the window, then we have a tendency to kind of backtrack. So the next tip for going out of or having family vacations is going to be to offer to help with the cooking. So whether it's bringing a dish with you or joining the trip to the grocery store so that you can help with buying meal supplies, spending some time in the kitchen with your family can be a good way to lead by example. And then to also help with keeping your nutritional choices a priority. So we've talked about a couple of different strategies for the 5 different scenarios. We've talked about sit down restaurants, fast food, food trucks, weddings, parties, and barbecues, and then also family vacations. So hopefully I've given everybody some ideas on how you can feel confident in making the best options whenever you are away from your normal diet routine. I think that's it.
That's really good, Heather. I think too, just to kind of add on, like when we go on road trips, long road trips anyway, I try to schedule stops about the same times I would normally have a snack. So, good news in Texas is, if you stop every 2 hours or whatever, it's not wrong rule for people making pit stops or whatever. And most of Texas is arranged about 2 hours apart. So
right.
that's such a weird conversation. It doesn't work back east, but over here it does.
Yeah.
But it tends to work pretty well. And the stores are like, even the convenience stores are getting better about having some decent options. We, typically look for a decent protein option, some good water, and even vegetables are now, some small serving of vegetables are available. And if not vegetables, there's always that good starchy stuff that all the dried fruit in the world.
Yeah. Well, I know that a lot of the convenience stores nowadays have like a burrito, like a breakfast burrito bar. So if nothing else, just like we were talking about with the food trucks, like you can get yourself a breakfast burrito and basically turn it into like an egg bowl. You get your eggs, you can, you probably want to stay away from or minimize the volume of like pork products because they're going to be a little bit higher in fat. Or you can just make adjustments for the rest of the day. Just don't add cheese, maybe, or ask for egg whites instead of whole eggs. And so those are some good options. And I know that a lot of the convenience stores also have like a fruit bar now, or they'll even have like a basket that has like apples and bananas and oranges in them. And so those are some good options. One of the nutrition clients that I have that I had a good conversation with this last week, she actually went out of town last week, and her and her fiance took with them a cooler full of their meals for breakfast and lunch. And then they planned to go out to dinner. And she just had already looked at the website, like before they even went out of town, she looked at the website for the restaurants that they were going to go to, and she made her nutrition choices based on where she was going to go. So I'm going to talk about like a couple of different places. So I'll share this with you guys. So like Chipotle, we all love Chipotle. I think that's one of the restaurants that's come up the most often whenever people are talking to me about where they like to go out to eat. So on Chipotle's website, you can go to where it says nutrition. And they have a nutrition calculator here. So you can actually go through and say, I'm going to make a salad. And with my salad, I'm going to have, of course, they say it's a salad, you're going to have some greens. So you start with the greens, and then I like to add chicken. And then you can actually click on like right here where it has the number of calories, and you can look at it and you can see like what is this going to add to my meal. Now, they usually have a pretty large volume of the meat when they add it to your meal. So this is actually going to add 33 grams of protein, which is a little bit high for me. So I go ahead and I plan this as a meal for 2 days. Like I plan it and say, this is going to be a huge salad, and I'm going to have half tonight and half for my lunch tomorrow at work. So I've got there my my chicken, and then they have rice and black beans. I like the black beans, but I don't want to have all of the black beans. I want to have about half of the black beans, and see, it adds a little bit more protein and it adds a little bit of carbs there. And then I've got the fajita veggies. They do cook these veggies in oil. So it adds a little bit of fat, but I just, I go for double the fajita veggies. And then I really like the tomato salsa. So I'm going to add that. It's going to add a little bit more carbs. So then if I divide this in half, then I'm going to have about 40 or 20 grams of protein and like 15 grams of carbs. So that's about perfect for me for a meal. And then if I want a little bit more fat, then I can add some sour cream. I'm allergic to avocados, so I don't do guacamole, but if I wanted to add that as one of the cool kids, see, it adds quite a bit of guacamole. Adds a little bit of fat there. But that's one way that you can look at meals. The other restaurant that a lot of people brought up whenever we had their nutrition appointments was Chick-fil-A. I don't know why it thinks I'm in 5,000 miles away. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Okay. So here I can go and I can look at I know that they have the nutrition on here. Where is it? I really like their salad, their market salad. And it's got like tons of veggies on it. I mean, it's got mixed greens, it's got some blue cheese that's going to add fat. It's got green and red apples, strawberries, and blueberries. And then it comes with a little packet of granola, and it comes with a little packet of some almonds, and it comes automatically with a balsamic vinaigrette. I personally don't even eat the dressing. Like I told them I don't want any dressing. And if you hold back and if you don't add the almonds, because the almonds are going to add about 15 grams of fat, and the granola adds, I think like 10 or 15 grams of carbs. So just leaving all of that off of it. I know it has the nutrition. Oh, here it is. 310 grams of, 310 calories, and it's got 25 grams of carbs and about almost 30 grams of protein here. So pretty much every website, I think that now they are actually legally required to provide you with the nutrition on their website. So where did we go? We went to Rosa's this week. And theirs is set up a little bit differently. You can't like click all the different items and have it just add it for you. It's all as like a PDF. So I really like the chicken fiesta salad. Where is it? There it is. So the chicken fiesta salad is made with romaine, but you can see here that it's quite a bit, 570 calories, and a lot of those calories come from fat. So when you look at this actual salad, it comes with sour cream, guacamole, and cheese, as well as chicken. And so if you just have them put the guacamole on the side, have them put the sour cream on the side, and then you can control the volume by either dipping your fork into those before you go for a bite of salad, or like actually taking your utensil and adding the volume to the salad that you want to add. But taking off those two items is going to cut out quite a bit of the fat. And then it's got a pretty good volume of protein. You've got 43 grams of protein in that whole salad. A lot of that comes from the cheese as well. So cheese is more of a fat source though. And it's got fiber. We love fiber. Well, do you have any questions? Whit or Paris, do you have any questions? John, anybody?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I thought Paris might try to say something in between being a good cashier at HEB.
Yes. Paris does
She
not
didn't-
have any questions. Cool.
What are you still at the grocery store? She didn't even reply. I sent her a message asking if that's where she was, but she didn't reply.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Well,
Whitney,
anyway.
no? Okay, fine.
Awesome. Okay. Well, so this next week, starting tomorrow, the focus is going to be on being successful. Is Whit going to say something? Okay. The focus is going to be on being successful with your grocery shopping. So ideally, we are going to try to do a grocery store tour, actually in person at a grocery store. John's going to work on getting us permission to walk through Walmart as a group. But if they don't give us permission for that, what we may do is it may be me and him walking through the store, and we can just Zoom present it to everybody.
Or we'll just go in and take it by storm.
I don't know. Saturdays are kind of crazy at noon at Walmart, so we'll see.
We're gonna cause a stir.
Yeah, troublemakers. But I want you guys to be successful with that. So on your education that I've provided through the app, you've got some videos that talk about being successful when buying your food at the grocery store. It talks about like what's so special about different kinds of meat, and do I need to care about things that are organic or not? And then what is sugar-free, what is fat-free, what do those things really mean? So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through the app, text message, email, or weather pending in person at the gym. All right. Anything
Oh, hey,
else,
Heather,
John?
is this going to be emailed out to everybody that's in the challenge? Did we record this to email
I
it
did
out?
record, yes. Yeah, I'm
Rock
gonna
and
send it out.
Okay.
Hi, Whit. Are you at HEB?
I'm at. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm at the grocery store, but I've been listening.
We figured. Are you at
You
HEB?
guys, I'll talk to y'all soon. Yeah,
Okay.
always.
Okay.
I live here.
Yes. Well, you know, Paris is also on the Zoom call, and she works there. So don't get her in trouble. She's listening.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, oh,
Hey,
Dax,
dude.
what's up, dude? All right. Thanks, Heather.
All right. Y'all have a good day.